days, but it's purple souvenirs. So, nice to meet you. I sat by the ocean. I drank a potion to erase you, except it wasn't the ocean, it was my back door. It wasn't a potion, it was my 5th glass of wine that night. I wasn't erasing anybody else, I was trying to erase myself. And I was trying to erase 20 years of stress and misery and a lifetime of not really liking myself very much. It was 2013. And that's the year that I quite affectionately now refer to as the year my life fell to shit. And various other ways of describing it. But it was the year that my life fell apart. It was a falling apart that had been coming for a very long time. And with hindsight, I look back on it as one of the best things that ever happened. The start of the year my year had started really optimistically. I was in a great new job. It was going to be my year. I just had my 40th birthday, and it was the best birthday ever. I hadn't freaked out. My best friend thinks I did, but I don't remember that. I had a lovely birthday. I was looking forward to a new year. I was in this amazing new job, and then I went into work after Christmas break and found that things had happened with Christmas, that had opened about 400 cans of worms in the organisation that I just started in. And it went from being this amazing, wonderful, close team that we were building to everyone was really stressed. And I was going to work, instead of being enthusiastic about going to work, I was going to work wondering if I was going to get there and find the doors locked and that I wasn't going to have a job anymore. I was a single mother. I had a 3-year-old, I had a 13-year-old, and my oldest son was coming and going, sometimes living with us, sometimes not. But it was difficult to not know if I had a job from one day to the next. While that was going on, we discovered that there was an alcohol problem in the family and a serious mental health problem. One of my family members was falling apart quite dramatically, and it was very difficult for us to deal with. It was particularly difficult for me to deal with because, as well as watching this person that I loved falling apart, he was holding up a great big mirror at my face and saying, "Hello, this is you," because that's what I've been doing for the last 20 years. Whenever there was a problem in my life, I would open a bottle, drink and drink and drink until there was nothing left of me anymore. And while I was drinking, I would be smoking, taking drugs, anything just to get out of here, get away from me. I didn't like who I was. I didn't like who I was sober. I didn't particularly like who I was drunk, but it was easier to be drunk than to be sober. So I just got drunk. And it was a pretty effective coping mechanism because when you're drunk, you can't really think clearly, so you don't have to think about the things that were bothering you until you end up in a puddle on the floor in the toilet, sobbing your guts out on your best friend's shoulders because you can't make any sense of anything that's going on in your head anymore. So I had this mirror being held up to me, and so I was trying to support my family, and then I was going home and I was getting drunk. And I was thinking, oh, the fuck, isn't this me? Why is it not me that's going through this? It should be me. Why isn't it? And I couldn't quite work it out. And I didn't know how to deal with it apart from to get drunk and smoke more. And then, while we were dealing with that, we found out that my mum had cancer. But we'd already had cancer in the family, and it had ended in a funeral. And I was just about getting over that. So finding out my mum had cancer kind of just destroyed what was left of my mental health, really. Only I didn't want her to know that, so I was trying to be strong for her, and then I was going home and I was sobbing into a bottle of wine, 20 fags, and several joints. And at the same time as well, because, if you're going to have a shit year, you may as well have an epically shit year. I had the most vicious breakup I could possibly have had with my youngest son. We'd already broken up, me and his father, but it was getting nastier and nastier and nastier as the year progressed. So midway through the year, I quit my job, got another job that I felt completely out of my depth in. I mean, it was just, when I had the interview, I came away thinking, well, they're not going to offer me the job. And if they do, I'm going to say no. But when they offered me the job, I said, yes, please, because I needed a new job. And I thought, it'll be all right, I can do it. It would have been a great job the year before when I was stronger. But I was completely out of my depth. And we'd had a training session, we'd had a 3-day-long training course. And I'd come back from this training course, I'd had my first paycheck, which was nice. £2,000 in my bank account, thank you very much, I like that. And I came away feeling quite excited about the job, about the potential, good teammates, it was great. But then I got home and I was listening to this album when I was sitting at my back door, my front door, listening to this music that I had been completely addicted to. This album that had come out a couple of months previously by a band called Queens of the Stone Age. And at this particular song, I Appear Missing, I had been obsessed with. Like completely, it was on a loop. I could not listen to this album, I could not listen to this song enough. And the line, I go missing, no longer exist. One day, I hope I'm someone you miss. I'd heard it 100 times before, and all of a sudden, I heard it, and I heard it in my bones, and I thought, shit, that's me, that's where I am, that's what's going on for me now. I was totally lost, and I didn't have a clue how lost I was. And I took this band, this album which was written after the singer of the band had nearly died, and the album tells the story of how he felt. This album was telling me how I felt, and I'd been listening to it for 2 months, obsessively, addictively, and I didn't realise just how much it was talking to me. 3 weeks after I had this moment, I quit my job, quite dramatically, in floods of tears on the phone. I reasoned that I needed to quit my job, go on income support. So I went from a £28,000 a year salary to about £70 a week in benefits, because I knew if I carried on, I was going to I would have killed myself on the road, because I was coming that close. That actually started to seem like a good idea. And I had a nervous breakdown, and it was the best thing I could have done. I just allowed myself to fall into this breakdown. And after this breakdown, or while I was having this breakdown, I sort of realised, right, well, I can't stay on benefits for the rest of my life. I need to do something. I don't want to go back to the 9 to 5. I can't do it. It will kill me. And I knew it actually would probably kill me. Or it would put me in a situation where I'd lose my children, or something terrible would happen if I tried to go back to that life. And I'd always loved yoga. As already been mentioned, I'm a big Beatles fan. George Harrison was into all things Indian, therefore I had to be into all things Indian, therefore I had to get into yoga. It was inevitable. And I got into yoga years before, and I'd always thought, well, I'd like to teach yoga. So this seemed like the perfect opportunity. I tried several times. There was always something in the way, something that stopped me being able to do yoga teacher training. But the minute I decided I need this, a teacher 20 miles down the road started advertising her first class, her first course, her first teacher training course, and I signed up. 5 months later, I went into this womb of a studio, and I thought, home. I was home, and I felt like this is where I belong. And throughout the next 6 months, the course was a year. In the next 6 months, I untied so many knots. I got rid of so much garbage from my past. I cleared so much. I'm still clearing. My brother will tell you now. I'm still clearing stuff. It's still stuff that keeps coming up. But I cleared so much that on the 12th of October 2014, 7 months into that training course, I woke up with the mother of all hangovers. My throat was dry. My mouth was like carpet that was covered in beer. It was disgusting. Stunk of fads, stunk of wine. I'd had an amazing night the night before, but I felt like I would rather die than get up off my sofa. I couldn't move all day. And I lay there thinking about all the things I wanted to do and all the things that I couldn't do anymore because I couldn't get off my sofa. I could barely open my eyes without being in pain. I said, I'm not doing it anymore. I'm not doing this anymore because now I've got another way. I had yoga. I could breathe. I didn't need to get drunk in order to deal with my problems. I could breathe through them and I could get through them. And for the next 6 weeks, I said, right, I'm not drinking this weekend. I'm not drinking this weekend. I'm not drinking this weekend. And then he got married, and I decided I wasn't going to drink at his wedding. And that was a life-changing decision for me, because when I went to his wedding, and I didn't drink, there was wine. I could have put my hand up and had a big glass of wine at any moment, and I chose not to. All night, I chose not to. And I woke up the next morning, and I felt amazing. I could remember every moment of the wedding. It was a beautiful wedding. I hadn't shown my brother up. My mother wasn't angry with me. I could remember everything. I'd been able to look after my son. And I knew this is the life I want now. And I haven't drunk anything since then. I haven't smoked in all that time. And I haven't missed any of it. I haven't wanted to drink, I haven't wanted to smoke. No matter what's happened in the world, all the stuff that's happened in the last 2 years in the world, none of it's made me drink. And it all started. This is a been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. This is a still from the video of that song. I bought the t-shirt before I even realized how much it meant to me. But this is me, this was me, this zombie was me. Now I'm full human. Like, you're a total woman and I'm a total woman as well.